Long ago, in a quiet African village nestled between lush forest and a mighty river, there lived a young woman named Akila. She was different from the other women in the village. While they spent their days weaving, cooking, and tending to the children, Akila was drawn to the water. The river, wide and powerful, called to her in ways she could not explain. Akila had lost her parents when she was just 2 years old. Her father, a fisherman, had gone to the river one evening and never returned. Some said he had drowned, others whispered that the river had taken him. Her mother, stricken with grief, wasted away until sorrow carried her to the ancestors. Left alone, Akila grew up under the care of kind neighbors who fed her strong fufu and watery soup, but she never truly belonged anywhere. She found solace in the river. As Akila grew older, she became fascinated by the fishermen who paddled their canoes onto the water every morning. Their nets glistened in the sunlight, their laughter echoed over the waves. But they never welcomed her. Fishing is not for women, they sneered. Go and learn how to pound yam or weave baskets, but Akila ignored them. She had no mother to teach her how to be a proper woman, no father to guide her. What she had was her father's old fishing rope, hidden in the corner of their abandoned hut. The day she picked it up was the day she decided to carve her own path. She learned by watching the men. She practiced by throwing her rope into the water, struggling to pull in small fish, and failing many times. But she did not give up. Over time, her hands became steady, her grip strong, her heart fearless. Then, one morning, something incredible happened. She caught a fish. A big one. The men stared in shock. Some muttered under their breath. Others laughed. But they were no longer laughing at a silly girl, they were laughing out of jealousy. As the days passed, Akila caught more fish, bigger than the ones the men brought home. The fisherman grew restless. Look at her, one scoffed. She acts like a man, what a smelly girl, another sneered. Who will marry such a dirty person? Their words did not hurt Akila. But their eyes, dark, full of resentment, made her uneasy. Then came the warning, you must stop fishing, one of the older fishermen growled. This river is not for you. Find something else to do before we deal with you. Akila did not respond. She simply paddled her canoe to the water as she always did. The next morning, the fisherman gathered around her canoe as she prepared to cast her rope. Go away, one barked. Go to the deeper end. We don't want you here, Akila pleaded. The river is big. There is space for everyone, but they refused to listen. So, from that day, Akila paddled far away, beyond the familiar stretch of water, into the deeper end of the river. At first, the deeper waters were quiet. The trees stood tall along the shore, their shadows stretching over the river, like protective arms. The air smelled of fresh fish and damp earth, but Akila felt lonely. She missed the chatter of the men, even their mockery. She missed the hum of the village behind her. Here, in the deep waters, she was completely alone. Then, it happened. The river trembled. A great splash erupted nearby. The water churned wildly. Akila turned just in time to see a massive fish, larger than any creature she had ever seen, rise from the depths. Its scales shone like silver, its eyes glowed like fire. Before she could scream, its enormous mouth opened, and it swallowed her whole. Akila tumbled into nothingness, her body weightless, lost in the belly of the beast. The air was thick, damp, and smelled of salt and decay. Around her, she saw bones, remnants of creatures that had been swallowed before her. Then, deep laughter echoed through the cavern. You have entered the belly of the river beast, a voice rumbled. No one lives without sacrifice. Akila swallowed hard. She had heard stories about the beast, told by trembling elders at night. It was said to be ancient, powerful, and merciless. What must I do to survive? She asked. The beast chuckled, its voice shaking the walls of its belly. You must give up what is most precious to you. Akila thought of her father's fishing rope, the only thing she had left of him. She felt its rough fibers against her palm. Could she let it go? She hesitated. Then, slowly, she unwrapped the rope from her wrist and placed it on the ground. I give up my father's legacy so that I may create my own. The beast roared, the walls trembled, and suddenly, Aquila was thrown upward, expelled from the depths with a force so strong that she burst through the surface of the river. Aquila gasped as fresh air filled her lungs. She had survived, but something had changed. She looked at her hands, and gasped. Her skin shimmered like silver fish scales. The village elder came running, his face pale. She carries the mark of the river beast, he whispered. She's the daughter of the river now. Aquila stared at her reflection in the water. Her body was different. She had been touched by the beast. You can never leave the river again, the elder said. It has claimed you, Aquila understood. She had made a sacrifice, and the river had taken her in return. She would fish forever, not as a village girl mocked by men, but as the guardian of the deep. The village elders stood in a tight circle, their wrinkled faces heavy with fear and suspicion. Aquila had returned from the belly of the river beast, but she was no longer the same. Her skin shimmered in the sunlight. Her presence seemed to carry the weight of the river itself. She must leave, the oldest among them declared. The spirits have touched her. She is not one of us anymore. The villagers, terrified of what Aquila might become, wasted no time. They went to her father's abandoned hut, gathered the few belongings she had, her sleeping mat, her clay pot. They carried everything to the riverbank and dumped them in the sand. This is your place now, one of the fishermen said, avoiding her gaze. Do not return to the village.